Thank you for joining us today at Miniature Wargaming Labs. Today we're going to talk about the Necromunda Dark Uprising box set. Now, weighing in at $290, this set is probably one of the most expensive box sets that Games Workshop has put out. You might ask, what do you get for the money? Now, like the standard Games Workshop box set, you're going to get both factions to play a game with. In this case, it's going to be the Paladin Enforcers versus the Corpse Grinders. When we compare it to the still available Underhive box set, which weighs in at $125, you're going to get, once again, the same two factions, in this case Escher versus Goliath gang factions. But what really sets the box sets apart is the terrain that's going to come in the box. Now, you might say, $125 versus $290, that's a lot of terrain. But you saw the size of that box. That box is almost a solid chunk of plastic. But let's start off with the factions you're going to get. The Paladin Enforcers, you're actually going to get 3 sprues of this particular faction. You're going to get 1 sprue of the standard Patrolman, which has already been released by Games Workshop. And currently, only in this box can you get the Paladin Subjugator faction. So this is the heavy-duty Riot Squad patrolmen. So these are going to be carrying close combat weapons, giant riot shields. Now, I particularly enjoy the Paladin Enforcers because at the 28mm scale and carrying Imperial faction bits, you can use them on your Imperial Guard. So for the Paladin Enforcer patrolman, the sniper rifle on there is great for loading out Imperial Guard snipers if you want a more custom look versus the metal one they currently make. Also, it's a great way to get a shotgun that's not a Space Marine shotgun to load onto your Imperial Guard. So that bit sprue, plenty of bits on it, great for using your other Imperial factions. The Subjugators, the weapon loadouts that they have on there, I haven't really played around with putting those on other faction items, but still they're a solid heavy Imperial trooper. Now matched up against them are the Corpse Grinders, probably one of the more dark elements of the Necromunda world, that these are the individuals that are in charge of recycling dead bodies. Now, with the Corpse Grinders, I'm not big into playing non-Imperial factions, and while they are Imperial, they're a little bit dark and brutish for me. But what I liked about it is when I looked at them, they have the same design aesthetic of the Warcry gangs. And looking at a lot of the hand bits, the firearms on these, once you're done assembling your Corpse Grinders, you have lots of bits to turn your Warcry factions into a 41st Millennium faction. So moving some of the 5 Warcry gangs into Necromunda is possible by giving them a more modern weapon aesthetic. So that's great use of some of those other bits. Now, let's talk about the rest of the plastic that makes up the 90% of the weight of this box. You're going to get some terrain elements. Now, the first terrain elements you're going to get are the standard field litter. So we're going to get shield walls that you can put up to provide cover within the terrain. And then you're going to get some of the ammo cases that serve as objectives in there, and also the tentacled creature. Now let's move on to what is really special about this, staircases. So this set is designed around the idea of the Zone Mortalis, which compared to Sector Mechanicus, the 3-dimensional model. So Zone Mortalis was originally set up to be a flat 2-dimensional space where characters move through tunnelways. Sector Mechanicus was supposed to be the going skyward, 2, 3, 4 levels up of terrain that came in the Sector Mechanicus set. The terrain that comes in this box set blends those two worlds. So it allows you to create Zone Mortalis boards that actually start moving up in height. And I know a lot of people are buying this box just to steal those staircases for their kill team. Now, what you can do with those staircases is you can actually plug them into your Sector Mechanicus terrain, your other Imperial terrain, because Games Workshop has designed their terrain to be modular and interchangeable with each other. That's the same thing with this box set. Now, what I enjoy about that is that with the staircases, you can actually slowly move your characters up to higher levels, where before trying to make that 6-inch run up the side of a barytonic furnace could be a little bit difficult and challenging for your models. You get 2 sprues for the staircase terrain, and when you look at the instructions, it gives you an example of 2 different types of staircases you can build to go up to higher levels. Now the rest of the terrain is going to be your Zone Mortalis bulkheads and doorways out there that you can either put on the first level, or one you can actually stack it to go up to a second level and perhaps blend in some of the Sector Mechanicus gantryways and furnaces in there if you have those sets. Now when you look at this, there's 5 unique sprue sets that go with the rest of the terrain there. So when you see that giant block, you're going to want to sort it out, and it will take up a lot of space. It's actually surrounding me right now. Now also what you get is the thermobaric pipes, and these are great little pieces that can run both horizontally and vertically, unlike the Promethean pipe. So I'm glad that they put this in here to kind of blend between the bulkheads and some of the terrain that you're going to litter throughout with some of the shield walls and some of the ammo caskets there. Now let's talk about some of the soft matter that you're going to get in game. So these are your playing aids. You're going to get the standard 12-inch ruler, clear, which is important for the Zone Mortalis. You're going to need this to establish line of sight. You're also going to get the old school templates, the last game in Games Workshop that still uses these templates. So you're going to get one of these. Now a lot of this stuff is designed for you and a partner to play. You get 2 factions, you get some other stuff to share. You're going to have to share this. So you're going to get your small blast template, your large blast template, and your flamethrower template. You're also going to get enough counters and black and red dice for each of your factions, so you can split that evenly. And you're also going to get, just in this box, some of the tactic cards for each one of the factions, and some of the Dominion game objective settlement cards for whatever type of campaign you're running with this box set. So this box set is actually designed as a run-through of the riots in Hive Arcos. So if you actually follow what's in the book on the campaign in here, it's always going to end the same way: everyone gets eaten. But that brings us to a good point. So when I see a lot of people come into the store to buy some of these box sets, they always say, what am I getting? Am I getting everything I need? Well, you're getting everything you need to run a double-sided faction in Necromunda. Now you get patrolmen and you get corpse grinders, but that's not everything that's out here. So let's start at the beginning. You're going to get your standard rule book, and this is everything you need to play the game, everything you need to build your corpse grinder faction and your patrolman faction. Then you're going to get 2 copies of reference sheets here, and these are handy little things to make sure you know what to do when. But however, the patrolmen were really originally covered in the Book of Judgment. So there's a lot of stuff associated with the Palanite Enforcers that are going to be in this book. It's not in the box set. All right, so you'll have to buy that separately. Also, around the same time this box set came out, for the corpse grinders, there's actually the Book of Ruin. So they're going to be more fully detailed in there, and some of the other cults like Gene Stealers and Chaos cults. This isn't going to be in the box set. You've got to buy this separately. Now, since you've already got the main rule book, buying the standard hardback rule book, probably not that essential. However, if you really want to get into Necromunda and you want to start playing some of the other factions out there, you're going to have to buy the additional Gangs of Necromunda, Gangs of the Underhive book. That's going to be an additional cost. That doesn't come in here. So when you're looking to get into Necromunda, you have to decide how much you want to put into this. This is a great buy for the amount of terrain that you're going to get into the box set, but it still is an expensive buy. They still sell the original Necromunda box for $125, the rule book, the templates, the 2 factions. So something else you get in this book is the game mat. Now this can be designed as a 2x2, so this is different from what came in the original Necromunda Underhive box, where it came with terrain tiles, cardboard that could be stacked into a ever-changing 4x4 game surface. This is a 2x2 game surface, but when you add on the now higher Zone Mortalis, it does give you as much of a playing surface. And in Necromunda with a 5-inch move with most of your gangs, a 4x4 board does become a bit daunting when you're trying to get done quickly in a certain number of turns, especially if someone decides to hide on the board. I like this because it's a soft, pliable, doesn't take up a lot of space. I still haven't decided if I like this more than the harder folding kill team boards, but we're going to try this out. What I will say about it is I do like the move to a smaller format because I've started playing Necromunda when I'm not at tournaments on a kill team board just because the engagement time's faster. And when you build the terrain up, like I said, it gives you a lot more vertical space to play with and just makes for a tighter game there. So if you're wanting to get into Necromunda and you want to get in with one of the boxes, you have a choice right now between Underhive at $125 and Dark Uprising at $290. So you have to decide how much value does that terrain add and how much money do you have to throw away on this, especially if you want to expand into some other factions and games. I would have to say, in my opinion, if you're just starting out, Underhive is probably still the way to go. You still get 2 gangs, you get a playing surface to play on, and you can get going right away at a lower cost, and there's a lot less stuff to assemble and paint before you get started. However, if you know already that you're going to be serious about this and that you want to go hardcore into Necromunda, Dark Uprising is the box choice, just because of the terrain. Because with the 2x2 smaller format, and with the added height of a first, second, and potentially a third level of terrain that you could squeeze out of this box, that gives you a lot more flexibility. And I also like it because it's something you can squeeze into Kill Team if you're already into playing that game. Well, I think that's going to cover it today at Miniature Wargaming Labs. Thank you for joining us for this review, and we'll see you next time.